Welcome back to another edition of Trace Triumph via What's to Play Productions. I'm Christian, here with Brian. SportsFan is here as well. And today is our final positional breakdown prior to our final mock draft that we'll be releasing the week of the NFL draft. Today, we're skipping. Shout out to the running backs and linebackers, but they don't get their own episode. Sorry. We live in 2024, and they matter just as much as kickers and punters. No offense. But we didn't give kickers and punters an episode, so no episode for running backs and linebackers. So, today, we're going to finish off our positional breakdown with the big boys. The, what did you call it earlier, sports fan?
Oh, Trench Daddies.
There we go. That's what we talking about, O-line and D-line, all right? For the D-line criteria, we're more so talking about interior defensive linemen. We've already discussed the edge rushers. I think that was in our first episode. So if you want to know how we feel about the edge rushers, go back, watch that video, and that's where you get our information there. Today we're talking about the big boys, about 290 to 370 range. That's what we're really looking for. The Darius Robinsons of the world. The people who are true the linemen. And no edge rushers in this conversation. O-line, all 5 positions, real versatile. Left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. We're going to cover all the positions, go through all the positions today. All right? So, let's get started. We're going to start off on the offensive side of the ball. Is that fine with everybody else?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. I think the highest rated prospect that we're going to talk about today in today's episode comes on the offensive side of the ball, and that is Joe Alt, Notre Dame left tackle. Consensus tackle 1. This is probably... during the season, it was between him and Fashanu, but once draft season started to come around, Alt is probably a little bit more polished than Fashanu. But, some people may still prefer Fashanu to Alt, but generally, the consensus is that Alt is tackle 1 and will probably be the first offensive lineman off the board. So, is there much to say about Alt? He's just a generally solid offensive tackle, big body, decent mover for his size, doesn't play like he's a 6'8" tackle. That's one thing I do like. He doesn't really play with a high pad level. Like you see a lot of taller tackles in the past, like the Nate Solders, Mike McGlinchey's. Even though they have had success, there's been a cap on how good they could have been because they play with such a high pad level that it's very difficult for them to get low against the edge rushers who can get that certain bend and just get right past them. Joe Alt plays very low to the ground for a 6'8" person. So I think he should have the ability to be somebody's franchise left tackle for the next 10, 15 years. Anybody have anything they want to add on Big Alt?
It's just a rare combination of like size, like you said, but also he's really quick and really kind of low center of gravity. He's not real, struggling to reach the fast, more bendier players on the edge. He's able to really set in his drop to really get to the space he needs to pretty much guard against both inside and outside moves, and he's also a really, really good run blocker as well. So just unlike a lot of other tackles we're going to talk about, he's primarily just going to be probably a left tackle. Well, compared to other office players in general, he'd just be a left tackle, and he'll be a plug-and-play left tackle for at least a decade, if not more.
Yeah.
I think he's 6'9", though. I want to say he'll be the tallest
gotta be
lineman in
gotta
the
be.
years.
Probably, yeah.
Can't think anybody else is 6'9", so if you have anything else you want to add, Brian.
All I was gonna say is kind of as CT said before. Obviously, the draft combine numbers I think really helped him separate from the pack because it eliminated any potential. He might be stiff. What labels that he might have gotten, but obviously he was. I don't think. If you looked at the tape, he wasn't like that. But as you guys said, rare combination size and speed. Obviously, low center of gravity, and it helps that he has NFL lineage because his dad played left tackle for, I want to say, a decade. I know he played for a good amount of time, and he went up against a guy like Derek Thomas in practice. So if there's anybody that Joe could obviously learn from and get his technique from, I think it would be somebody like that. So I think he'll be fine at the next level, and he'll be a franchise offensive tackle for a decade, as you guys have already stated.
I do feel like SportsFan kind of alluded to this. This is a draft where there's a lot of good O-linemen, but there's very few true left tackles in this class that you're sure that once they get drafted, they're definitely going to be on that left side and won't get moved to the right side. I think Alt and Fashanu may be. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Alt and Fashanu are the only ones where you aren't really questioning whether they're survival on the left side, and then maybe they'll get moved to the right side on the next level, or even if there's some tackles who are being talked about getting kicked in the guard that we'll talk about later. But Alt and Fashanu really feel like the only two that are like the definite bookend left tackles for the future. So I think
Absolutely.
that makes it even more of a premium because that's the position you're really looking for this early, that left tackle position. And for the two best to be the primary two that you really think of when you think of left tackle for this draft, it makes teams, we may see a crazy trade up for one of these two guys in this class. We always talk about trading up for the quarterbacks, but Joe Alt has really distanced himself, and then Fashanu's probably a distant second as well. So you never know. Somebody may trade up for somebody who they feel could be their franchise left tackle.
Or they might just both go top seven, depending on what the Chargers do at 5.
Hey, hope not. Hope the Chargers don't do that. But
Don't do
Jim Hart,
what?
yeah, draft a tackle. Yeah.
I'll save my opinion for our final mock on what they're gonna do. You might
We
not
want to
like
move on to Fashanu?
Yeah.
it. Sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Talking about all the Chargers.
Okay, well. I mean, as CT's already said, Olu Fashanu is probably the only other guy at this level that we believe will stay as a left tackle. I mean, probably a guy like who's like very low down on the list. A guy like a Patrick Paul, just because of his size, will probably stay there. But just in terms of this range of offensive tackles and offensive linemen, obviously we believe that Olu is a guy that's going to stay on the left side. I believe he played all of his snaps on the left side, so I don't think this is like an Evan Neal situation where you could talk yourself into maybe moving him to the right side because he hasn't played over there, so it would be a tough transition for him. But kind of like we said about Alt, he has a solid base. He seems to move pretty well on tape from what I see. He uses his hands well. He's a guy that once he gets his hands there, it's hard to get around him or get past him. Um, I didn't really see too many weaknesses in this game, but I'll leave it to JG and CT from there to give any more analysis on him.
Yeah. I want to say he kind of, as a pass blocker, I want to say he's not as just as good as Alt, but he's like maybe a step or two behind, which is no, not that far. He went to high school with Cat Williams, went to Penn State, and was what All American consensus this year. So he also had a really good season, and he battled against a lot of good edge rushers in that conference. But the main thing I really think that might hold him back right now, he's kind of, I don't want to say weak, but he's kind of raw as a run blocker. He overextended a lot, and he kind of got shut at the shy really easily. So as a pass blocker, I believe if a team kind of needs a pass blocker left tackle, teams like I believe the Jets and Bears will. I feel like they're probably gonna take a look at Olu to see if they fit his scheme. But teams that maybe run the ball more, teams like the Chargers or some other teams that plan to run the ball more, he probably won't fit that scheme. So it's gonna be interesting to see what teams value him more than others. That he could slide in the draft. I've seen situations where JC Latham gets picked on him just because JC Latham is more physical, and some teams value that more than a finesse pass blocking type O lineman that Olu is. But I believe Olu can develop into an elite pass blocker and an average um, run blocking left tackle, which is pretty valuable in this league. But we'll see where he kind of ends up at. I'm interested to see. I'm predicting he ends up in that 8 to 13 range, somewhere in there. Maybe a team that trades down draft him, or a team that is already there drafts him. But that's kind of what I expect from him. What you got, Mingles?
Thing with Olu is it's kind of like what you said. He's a bit more raw. I mean, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think he's a bit more. I mean, he's a bit younger than Alt. Alt just seems a bit more solid in his protection. Real regiment based. It's almost like rep in and rep out. It's the same thing you're looking at on tape. For Shanu, he's dominant in the run game. He's been dominant in the pass game in the past, but he does have those games that show up on tape where it's like, this wasn't a good one for him. And it's like complete games. It's like it's not certain reps. It's like he has complete games. Like the game against Ohio State, he really struggled. And Ohio State has a pretty good edge rusher who probably would have been a first or second round pick in this year's class if he declared, but he decided to go back to school. So you just see if he goes up against that potential elite talent, the next level, you could see him struggling. But I do think at the end of the day, he's been solid, and as long as he can get in a good enough scheme with a good O line coach who can help him hone his technique a little bit, he'll be fine down the line. I think that 8 to 13 range is fair, considering during the regular season it was talk that he could be a top 3 to 5 pick. But 8 to 13, I think if that's where you're getting him, I think that's good value for the pick, considering the talent.
Yeah.
Now we move on to number 3. And this is where things may start to differ a little bit.
Yeah.
Who's your offensive line 3? I think we may have different answers here.
So
I'm going with Troy.
You. Who'd you say, JG?
I'm going with Troy.
I had Fuaga out of Oregon State.
I got Latham. Yeah, big.
So why Troy? Why Troy, JG?
I just believe I see him as, I'm not gonna say Pro Bowl, but maybe just a really good tackle. But as a guard, I feel like he could be elite. I was looking at his tape and way he moves people. It's not usually what you see from a tackle. He kind of has the build more of a guard, in my opinion, just based on his size and the way he moves. But he can still play tackle really well. I just believe he's really versatile, and I kind of value that more. Fuaga is not that far behind either. I believe they're like kind of either tied or right behind each other on my boards. They kind of have similar games, with positional versatility. And then with JC, I kind of see why Mingles like him more. I don't know. It's hard for me to really project how he is because he's a right tackle mainly, and both tackles really matter, but you don't see many right tackles come out like that and get drafted highly or
Yeah.
valued that highly. And he's also more of a physical lineman than really blocking on the edge like Joe or Olu was. So I'm interested to see what Mingles has to say about him.
I like Latham. He's a true right tackle. I mean, like you said, I don't envision any scenario where he's moved over to the left side and is asked to protect any quarterback's blind side. He's a true mauler. I think he's probably the best run blocker on the edge in this class. He's probably the biggest tackle in this class as well. He may be smaller than Mims, but I think he gets after in the run game, and I think his pass protection isn't the best in the class, but with what he's giving you in the run game, his pass protection is good enough to hold up in the league. He's big enough to where, whoa, pause. He has the size, the prototypical size, to where you would see success on that right side. And with a good coaching system, you don't really have to work on his run blocking. It's already pro ready. I do think the pass protection is good enough to hold up now, but there's still room for growth, and you can see where the room for growth could happen. With your Troy Fautanu, the reason you have him at 3 is the reason that I have one of my player at 4. So, if anybody else has anything, or did you want to say anything about Taliese, Brian?
Yeah, just for Taliese. So I get JG's argument about the positional versatility. I do get that. So for me, it was between Fuaga and Latham though, because I kind of value tackles more than guards. So even though they're both right tackles, I just from what I saw on tape, I like Fuaga's ability to pass protect. He didn't really lose a whole lot of reps, even when he was going against guys like Latu and Braylon Trice on tape. His run tape didn't really stand out to me, even though obviously Oregon State was more of a running team. But I think he's balanced enough to where I would favor him over Latham in that situation. So that's why I had him as my O line 3.
That makes sense.
It's fair. I mean, I think Taliese is, well, up until recently, has been like consensus tackle 3. I think Fautanu's making like a late push.
Yeah.
My not tackle
think
4.
I
My
think
oh go ahead.
before you go, I don't think Vatan's making a late push as a tackle though. I think he's making a late push
As
as
a
a
lineman.
as a
Yeah.
lineman in general. Cause I've seen some people that believe he can be a elite center too. So they believe he can play guard and center even better that he plays tackle and he plays tackle really well. So I think that's why he's making that push. Not as a tackle though. I'm assuming he's still probably tackle four in a lot of people's boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, for me, I my tackle four. I mean, not tackle four. My lineman four is Graham Barton, and it's a lot of the
Mm.
same reasons that sports fan have for Fautanu. Is that, but except I don't see Graham Barton as a tackle at all in the next level. Even though that's all he played in college, but his moving ability is probably the best or second best in this class. I'm between him and JPJ. It's kind of close, but his ability to move once the ball is snapped is second to none. I think he'll probably be a great guard. A lot of people think he could play center as well. I'm not going to put that on him yet, but I think once he gets to the league, he'll be like he was saying about Fautanu. I think Graham Barton has the makings of a Pro Bowl level guard in the NFL. This isn't a slight on Fautanu. I think he's 5 or 6 on my board, but I do think it's a lot of good offensive linemen in this class. But for me,
Absolutely.
Graham Barton, his moving ability is what has him at 4 for me over the likes of Fautanu, and then I have Fuaga at 5.
Okay. I had Latham at 4. CT kind of gave the reasons why I had him at 4, also with him being on offensive tackle. So for me, Fautanu is 6, but that's only because I had JPJ at 5 because I feel like he's just the best interior lineman in the draft to me. Um, he seems like a guy that can play center or guard. So back to your positional versatility point, I think that works there. Um, I mean, if Fautanu can play outside, I think obviously he moves ahead of JPJ for me. But because a lot of people believe he's going to move inside, I think that at that point JPJ's ability to play both, basically all three interior line positions, did it for me.
That's fair. I think I have JPJ at 7. Honestly, it's still subject to change before the draft because I like
Yeah,
JPJ a lot. Um, I just don't like his on field drip. I hate it so bad.
I
But
think looking
I
at
like.
Dane Bugler's list of all the players in the draft, and I'm assuming when he does these like positions, when he picks positions for certain players, I think he's based off what he's been hearing they'll play in the league. And Graham
mm-hmm.
Barnes listed as center
Hmm.
and not a guard or a tackle. So
Interesting.
yeah,
So do you think that might be? You think they might be trying to cross train him like during OTAs, or do you think people think like that's going to be like his position?
I'm assuming it's probably the majority of the teams that draft him might have him try center or guard and just see wherever he's better at.
Okay.
And
If
there
he's
nobody's
center, then
he's not playing tackle.
he might
Well, what I'm
be
saying cross train, I mean like center and guard.
yeah he probably be yeah he's probably interior lineman either one or two depending on where they have Troy. So yeah, and
Okay.
then JPJ probably be three.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really be mad. However, you rank those three: Tanu, Barton, and JPJ one through
Mm-hmm.
three. I wouldn't really be mad at the rankings. I just think Graham Barton is the better mover out of all those guys, and that just moves me slightly more. I don't have much bad to say about the others. I just appreciate that element of Barton's game slightly more.
Yeah.
So we can move on to is there any tackle five? I mean, not tackle five. Lineman five. Has everybody given their lineman five?
Yeah.
Is
My
there a
lineman
name?
five was JPJ.
JPJ, and then mine was Talise.
I'm trying to think. I want to say it's Mims, but
What a
Mm.
dis.
Mims
That's it.
might be six. I'm trying to remember my list in my head right now.
There you go. I got it. Let me see.
Mims is
Okay.
Huh?
7 for me right now, but I
Relax.
may put him under Graham Barton. I don't know yet. 'Cause I think my
I
thing with
I
Mims
like
was I could
Graham
see him
Barton
at
more than
tackle.
Mims.
I got Mims 9.
I like Troy better than Mims. I like JPJ better than Mims. I like Fuaga better than Mims.
So it might be like 6 or 7.
Yeah. We want lineman five. I'm trying to go in my head. We got Joe. We got Olu. We got
Do you have JC over him?
JC. We had five. JC's probably my four. With Troy at my. Oh,
You
then
said
my fifth
Troy
is
was 3
Fuaga.
for you. I know you said that.
At least probably my fifth then, because 3 was Troy.
Yeah, you said
4
3
is
was
Fred.
Troy.
Yeah,
So
so
then I
5th is
guess it
Fred.
would be between him. It would be between Mims, JPJ, and Barton. How you list them, I guess.
Yuck.
Unless you had like Guyton or somebody else ahead of him.
I got. Let me see. Fuaga's my
I
five.
ain't
I got
even, I ain't
Fautanu
even my list no more.
and
Yeah, about
JPJ is 7. I got Amarius Mims number 9. Sticking true to that board, man.
Yeah. So
I
I think
don't
Mims
believe.
could, as I said, I think Mims could easily become number 8 for me. I think I just, as I said about the tackles at 3 and 4, I feel like his ability to potentially play tackle, I value that a little bit more than obviously Barton being a guard or a center. But honestly, they're right there with each other, so I could easily flip that one, in my mind. But I don't think I would put either Guyton or Cooper Beebe over Mims.
Cooper.
Cooper Beebe. I've heard good things
Oh,
about him. I know a lot of guys like him as a 3rd to 2nd round pick for a guard. Him and drawing a blank on his name. So many damn
what
names.
school?
Zach Frazier, West
Oh
Virginia.
yeah, West
Oh,
Virginia. Yeah,
I
yeah, he's
like.
jumped up the boards from what I've seen.
Yeah, he's damn near 2nd round now.
Yeah,
I like that old lineman out of Michigan who got hurt in the.
Zak Zinter.
Yeah, I like him. I like his game, but I don't know where he's gonna go because of the injury. He'll probably go 4th, 5th round.
Yeah, his
I think
Zinter and Frazier both in my honorable mentions.
What was the injury?
I probably could have
that
put
was
Jordan Morgan on my list, but
I don't. What was it? A broken leg or something? It was something where he got carted off.
Damn.
let me see.
Yeah. It was in the. Was it against Ohio State or was that in the semifinal?
What
I think that
position?
was against Ohio State. I think it was against Ohio State, and they scored like the next play. Yeah, I liked his game, but that injury, I don't know how teams are gonna view it because I really haven't heard much about him in the
Yeah, it
pre-draft
was a leg
process. But
injury against Ohio State.
yeah,
What position
He
does
had
he
an
play?
air cast.
he's a guard.
I don't even see him on the list.
That's what I'm
Who?
saying. People not talking about him, but if he didn't get injured, he would have been on that list. Zak Zinter.
Oh, actually, I'm
He might be
4th
under
round.
center, under guard or center.
4th round grade. Yeah, I see it.
See,
Hey, at least he.
but let's see. Who we got at? We've almost talked about him. Let's talk about Tyler Guyton. Guyton versus Mims.
Yes, I have him at
Come
9
on.
right now.
Come on now. Be serious.
Guyton over Mims. I got Guyton over Mims. I'm sorry.
No.
What do you like about
Stop.
Guyton over Mims?
Stop
He's
it.
coming from a real school.
There it is.
Real school, real pass protection reps. You know, real system in place. But no, I mean, one of the safer picks in the draft is to draft the Oklahoma tackle. You know, but with Amarius Mims, he's just a real raw player. You're banking on the upside, and generally, I'm one to get with that. But my offensive lineman, I like them to be a little bit more technically sound day one, just slightly more. The traits are great, but I still also value the technicality of the position to an extent. And Mims, while you see the path to where he's getting there, he's not there yet, right? He's inexperienced. I don't think he's played much. I think his snap count is probably one of the lower ones of the first round tackles that are gonna go. But like he has the trait, so I can see why people are getting behind him. I think it's a little bit different than the Broderick Jones thing from last year because I think Broderick was actually like a true left tackle for that Georgia team last year, and they were able to display that for the NFL. Mims, I believe, is played primarily on the right side, correct, and limited snaps. But the size, the strength, it's getting a lot of people, sports fan included.
I don't know. Nah, I mean, I'm not sure you can say Guyton is the safer pick because he only has 15 career starts. So you're basically
Hey, it's only one spot ahead, slightly safer. I ain't put
like
Guyton at 6 like I could have.
you'd been crazy to do that. You'd have ruined your legacy.
Nah, legacy not on the line for Tyler Guyton. I've said some crazy things before. If my legacy is on the line for Tyler Guyton, then
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know
Just
if we're doing it for
take
offensive
my
linemen.
legacy now.
I don't know if we're
Not,
dying on the hill of offensive linemen.
not at all.
Guyton, I mean, he has talent. Yeah, I gotta see more. Or at least see Mims on the field. He looks pretty well. He has injury concerns. That's what's really holding him back. Guyton, when he was on the field, I mean, boy, it was some reps. He got his ass beat. So I mean, we'll see. If he stays healthy, maybe he'll develop. You know what I'm saying? So he cool. He fly. He put that shit on though. He had the right jersey on. I give him that. He had the right helmet on.
Hey, see, now you're getting it.
He was on the right team. I give him that.
Hey, you always get it eventually. Second round sleepers. Well, not even sleepers, but just second round guys who you may like. I think a lot of people know Jordan Morgan, out of Arizona. He's been mocked late first round, early second round. He's also a tackle that's getting buzz from left tackle, right tackle, and then even some rumors he may kick in the guard eventually. That's a player that I like. You got Kingsley Suamatia, BYU, I believe.
Yeah.
Who's getting some guard tackle buzz as well. There's, like I said at the start, there's not many true pure left tackles in this class. So if you're really looking for that, especially late in the draft, you almost have to just bank on the player you're drafting not being a better guard, because players like Jordan Morgan, if you see that they're better at guard and they're struggling at tackle, I mean, it's a bad pick in hindsight, because you look at a player like Eric Flowers back in the day for the Giants, he was awful as a tackle. He went elsewhere, became a decent to above average guard. He just had the size profile, the athleticism to be able to play guard to an extent, but he just wasn't able to cut it at tackle. I'm not saying that's the case with any of these guys in this class, but it's a realistic possibility, especially with all these rumors. With almost every single one of these guys, there is potential that they could get kicked in the guard.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
there's
I
a
mean,
question
the
about
Giants
their
drafted somebody
durability.
Yeah, I was about
recently
to say
that
I don't know what it is about the Giants, but it seems like you had
Evan Neal should
Flowers,
have been
you had
fired from the
Justin
Oilers.
Pugh who moved inside and became a great guard, and then you obviously got
Evan
the
Neal
Evan
was the
Neal
most
conundrum
obvious
now.
guard, in NFL history. I don't know why they haven't done it yet,
better holding a clipboard, but we'll see. Not sure
and
if
he's still
he's.
not gonna move inside. They're
They
not.
they
Nah.
they might have to. They might not have a choice depending on what they do. What they do.
What do you mean? What they do?
I
They're not
mean,
taking linemen.
They're not drafting a
not at
lineman.
6. Not at 6.
They draft one at all. But look, Brian, there's no linemen in this class that are definitely gonna kick him inside.
Not even if
All
they
the
took like Fuaga or JC.
Fuaga
event
can
that they
move
traded
inside.
down.
They're not taking JC in the first round though. They're not taking JC in the first round.
I need to know what needs to happen to have that pick make sense. Because they're at 6 now. So how are they trading down?
They would
No
have
way
to
they're
trade
taking.
down. Like they're not. I know they're
If
not
they
taking the
take
offensive
Jake
lineman
at
in
6,
6. Because there's
Who's
no.
trading?
Because unless like Alt is sitting there, I don't think you're taking him in 6, and even then you're not moving him to the right side. So
just let him play right tackle though. They're not gonna take all. They all is off the board. They got the left tackle of the future already.
But that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, like, unless you're going to trade down, but I don't think you're taking Fuaga or Latham if you're trading down. Because most likely, if you're trading down, you're probably, depending on who's on the board and who's already made trades, I feel like you would hope you could trade with Minnesota. But even then, if you're sitting there at 11, you're probably going corner. So.
You think so? Huh?
I mean, if we are at 11, what else are we doing? If that were to happen, theoretically. If that were to happen.
You want me to answer that or?
Yes, please answer that, JJ.
If you're at 11, right, and the options is corner or O lineman, based on what I seen last year, I would go O lineman and then take a corner with pick 23.
I don't think we get 23 if we get 11. I think it'll after looking at the trade calculator today, I feel like we'd have to give up 47 to get 11 and 23. So if we're trading down, it's probably 11 and a 2025 first for 6 and then the third round pick. You said what?
If they can move from 11 to 6 and get a quarterback without giving up their second first, they hold y'all. They really hold the shit out of y'all.
But
They really hold you.
my thing is, if we look, I get what you're saying, JG. But if they trade 11, I don't think they're trading 23 unless we give up 47. So at that point,
47. 47.
huh?
47. Fuck 47. You can have that. They can have that.
So
You
I
can
would
pick
agree
23
there. But the problem is we traded 39 to the Panthers
For
to get
who?
Brian Burns.
Oh, W pick them out. Okay, get 47 hot. Trade them picks. you're not doing anything with him anyway. You might as well trade him. I mean,
I would agree with you, JG. I'm just like from 23 to 70 is a long wait, and you
I tell you
already
what,
only have like 5 picks in this
we can
year's
throw in a
draft.
picks. I swear, if Monty don't use one of these picks and trade up and get somebody else too, there's no way we're about to have 11 rookies this year. It can be more if we trade down. If we trade down, we're not gonna many rookies. I don't see that happening. So we gotta trade up at some
Yeah,
point.
y'all gonna be OKC. Y'all gonna be the OKC of the NFL if that happened. But
Yeah, without yeah, it doesn't work in the NFL though. We're gonna be so mid. 500 team forever.
so many practice squad
But
players.
yeah. So Mingles, we move on to the D lineman now.
My fault, y'all.
No, you
Yeah,
good.
man. Let's move past these offensive linemen. This defensive line. Defensive line. This may get interesting from the beginning.
Mm,
We all got D tackle one.
I think we all have Byron Murphy.
I'm going with Johnny Noon.
I was about to say, I think somebody may have somebody different.
Hmm.
I got Johnny Noon.
No, I got Byron Murphy as well.
I'm about to say I thought we all had consensus 1 and 2. Two is unanimous. That's why.
You know, I've been thinking about it. I've seen just Noon game. It reminds me of. I ain't gonna say no names yet, cause I don't want to get put in the summer jam screen. But I
And
just
I hope you're not
believe.
about to say Chris Jones.
You said what?
I said, I hope you're not about to say Chris Jones.
Nah, I was thinking more Geno Atkins. But I
Oh,
love Chris Jones though.
I might have cooked with that Chris Jones. Hold on now.
I don't know if that puts you on the summer
You
jam
like that?
screen though, JG.
You like
I don't
that?
think
You
the
like that
comparison's
Chris
that
Jones?
bad.
Geno
So if I,
Atkins, that's a regular comparison.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's that crazy.
Yeah,
so if I
that's not
compare
boring.
Byron Murphy to Aaron Donald, I'm gonna look crazy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
my fault. I was just testing the waters.
You lost me.
Now
Now,
that would get
what's
you
that
put on
one
summer jam.
they trying to make that comparison with? Brandon Fisk. Yeah, there he is. There's Aaron Donald.
Man,
So
that's
now,
Slice Anti at best.
no, that is definitely Brian Breesy.
Brian
Oh,
Brzee, man.
Johnny Newen. It's like I don't know. They're both usually when you're drafting D tackles in the draft. Not a lot of D tackles just come in with pass rushing moves like Johnny Newton and Byron Murphy do. So I just kind of went with what the player I feel like got that dog in him. Who's that nigga
oh.
for real? And I think Johnny Newton that nigga for real. Cause
Intangibles.
like that tangible, something just like you see him play, like yeah, that's a nigga that's gonna do that shit.
That might be what we titled this episode. Intangibles matter.
You
Yeah.
going with the
So
player
you
that got that dog in him?
I mean, like
Sure. I mean,
I
but
think
I
it's
get
really close, honestly. They both kind of
I mean, I get
press
it.
the pocket. Yeah,
I,
I think Johnny Newton's slightly quicker. That's my opinion, but
I think Johnny Newton gives you a little bit more in the run game as well.
yeah.
But I don't know. I think Byron Murphy just has better pass rush potential. I think they both could be great pass rushers, but I think day one Johnny Newton does give you the better in the run game. I think day one Byron Murphy gives you slightly better in the pass game. But I do think they're both very good in both areas. I think it's a large gap between 2 and 3.
I
But for
co-sign with
now,
Christian. Oh, go
I
ahead,
got
Chris.
Byron one for now. But it's really close. It's really close. I want to be mad at either one of them going top 10, top 12. You could honestly sell me on one of these guys being the best defensive lineman or edge rusher in the class. You could honestly tell me that Byron Murphy is a better prospect than Leatu Latu. Y'all know Leatu Latu, that's my boy. But I have them so clear of Dallas Turner, Jared Verge, Chop Robinson that I can see it being a conversation between Latu and one of them. Just depending on what a team needs, you know. What team am
At
I?
what pick?
Like Vikings. If I'm the Vikings, you know, it'll be a tough
Oh,
decision. You
okay.
know, they need interior defensive line. They have decent edge rushers and they get a lot of work done on the blitz. So maybe that's a team where I value the defensive tackle more than I value the edge rusher. So, you know, that's what I would say there. But for both of them, they're great prospects. Number 3 though is where it gets interesting. I don't know if you guys have anything else on Byron Murphy or Johnny Jer'Zhan Newton.
I was just gonna say both of them are tier one for me. Separated above above everybody else in the class. And I agree with your point that I believe that Byron's pass rush ability, considering that today is more of a passing league, is what puts him over Johnny Newton for me as my D lineman one.
Yeah, I mean, because interior pressure is what gives quarterbacks more problems.
Yeah.
Most quarterbacks will tell you that the interior pressure bothers them more than the edge pressure. And if you can produce that at a certain level, it's just gonna give the offense problems at any point in time. Number three, I don't know, man. Who y'all got? I need to shape my opinion based on what you about to say because I don't really like who I currently have at number three.
I'm gonna let JG go first.
I haven't adjusted my D line.
Oh, you give it to me?
Yeah, I'll give it to you because I feel like if I say it first, well, he probably gonna disagree with me regardless of what I say. But
I'm gonna give it to the crash out. I'm gonna give it a sweat. I'm assuming. This is big, like assuming here. This is assuming that he gets his act together. I believe he has the potential to be the three.
Assuming civilization.
Yeah, but based on what I'm seeing and what I've heard and what I'm continuing to hear, he's not gonna do that. So instead, I'm gonna go with it's between Michael Hall and Chris Jenkins.
Not the other potential crash out who's considered an edge,
Is,
who's trying to be considered an edge right now.
I forgot he's not an edge. I guess by default, I guess he's three, huh?
Ain't by my default.
So I was gonna say. So I was gonna say JG before you.
If we talking serious, fuck Darius Robinson. I'm still going with Chris Jenkins or Michael Hall, and then Darius Robinson fifth.
There we go.
Darius Robinson, he's just so not it, and I don't know why people like him. I just don't see it. I don't see the game. But speaking of Chris Jenkins,
let's turn this into a Darius Robinson hate session. Actually, I mean, we don't have to call it that. But I just want to say, for somebody to have their best season as an edge rusher, and to be termed this first round prospect, you're clearly not an edge rusher in the NFL. So you got to turn the tape back 2 years to where he was actually playing interior defensive line, and he was still a good player, but it was more a slightly more regular, So he was winning in the SEC against college competition with that 4.96 speed, with that. But once he gets to the interior in the NFL, and then it shows up on tape, he's not able to win on the edge with the speed. And when he gets inside, not as strong as he thought he was. You saw what he said at the combine because the
bench press reps or whatever.
Something about there was a conspiracy against him at the combine. So there's questions about if he can win on the inside as well, and if he's strong enough to hold up in the run game. So I just don't see it. I'd give him like a second or third round grade just based off production. He was able to produce it at that level, but I don't really see the game translating as well to the next level.
I think Darius Robinson has like the potential to be a good number 2, number 3 type pass rusher or like a really good run defender. He's more of a.
What do you have?
Yeah. Niggas not gonna like these comparisons, but I'm gonna give him anyway. He's more similar to what Tyree Wilson was, and what Jadeveon Clowney is now.
Man, what was Tyree Wilson 40 time?
And did he even run the 40? I don't even fucking know.
He got to be like a 4.7 guy.
I don't know, but he was strictly a traits pick last year, so.
Strictly, and you see how that worked out for him.
So far, it's been 1 year. Oh my god, so impatient.
Yeah.
Did
he even participate in the combine?
I don't think he did. I don't know.
He was hurt. Yeah, I thought he was hurt.
I don't even remember because I just remember he got a lot of buzz, but
he didn't do no combine.
Yeah.
He did the bench press, 23 reps. I mean,
what did Darius Robinson?
It's like these big edges that don't really belong on the edge. It just doesn't work.
Should they be more of like a 3-4 edge? I mean, not 3-4 edge, 3-4 defensive end, or is it just something where you might just have to use them in sub packages?
3-4 defensive end type B. He's not. I can't even say he's not even a good comparison with Clowney. Clowney could at least actually play on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have pass rush moves, but he's really strong enough to really be a edge setter and also kind of give you a pass rush every once in a while. I don't see it with Darius Robinson off the edge. Interior moves over a guard maybe in between that guard and a tackle gap. I see it, but off the edge, like really on pass rush downs, I don't see him winning on the edge like that. So that's why he's not my edge group, and I don't really like him better as an interior presence compared to um, Johnny or
Byron.
Byron because they way better on as in the middle as run stuffers, and I also believe they're better pass rushers too. And then Michael Hall and
Chris
I
Jenkins.
can't remember his name right now. Hold on,
Talking about
Michael
Chris or you talking
Hall
about somebody else?
and Chris Jenkins. Yeah, I think they're better. They're better run stuffers than what he is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Darius Robinson has a place. Really depends on the team that even still runs that scheme. If he really thinks he's an edge, he's not gonna like where he's drafted most likely. Because I don't know what many teams are gonna have him on the edge.
Not
I've
me.
seen
Not
I've
my.
seen mocks where the Cardinals draft him, and I don't mind drafting him because we need D line time in general. But if he thinks he's gonna come and play the edge for us, that's just not happening. Because I see who we have in the edge now with David Collins and who we had BJ
Ojulari, yeah.
BJ Ojulari.
Y'all could probably go get
Because
Aziz next year if y'all want to.
that's I knew he was about to say that, but it's like I can tell they want more speed, not light guys, but lower weight than the 285 that Darius Robinson is. That's not going to work on the edge for our team. I don't know how the edge is going to work on many teams. I don't know many teams that have edges that big.
Yeah.
If
not even Tampa.
Yeah, not even Tampa, especially not at this point, because once they oh, did they still got who's that guy they drafted?
Try you talking about Tryon or somebody else?
Yeah, well, how heavy is Joe Tryon?
Tampa like them big edge.
Because that's why I brought up Tampa because I know we talked about it in the last draft.
Yeah, Joe Tryon big as shit. And he only 260.
Yeah,
Darius Robinson like 285. Yeah, all right. Talking about the edge. Fuck out of here.
He's too slow for the edge, and he's not really. Well, he can add weight. You can't really make yourself faster on the NFL field. So you can add weight, add strength somehow, and then actually become an interior defensive lineman and give up that pipe dream of being an edge rusher. It'd be crazy if he turns into like some type of J.J. Watt type of player where he doesn't need speed doing on the outside, and then we look crazy in 10 years. But hey, I'd rather be known for the hate than just quietly support him.
I feel bad though, because even J.J. Watt, the way J.J. Watt used his hands was way better than theirs.
Hey, maybe he'll hit up J.J. Watt and ask for some lessons.
If he gets drafted by the Cardinals.
Nah.
Please stop saying that.
You just brought it up.
You definitely brought it up.
You definitely just brought it up.
I don't want you to say it though. Don't repeat it. Just be like, "Wow, Jalen said that." Ha ha. Don't repeat the thoughts. No. Don't.
Okay,
don't
if the Texans draft him. Okay, if the Texans draft him.
That might be worse.
Hey, that we talking. I mean, there's supposed to be a fine pick at 35. We pick him at 27. I'm gonna crash out. Y'all see all the reasons I'm gonna crash out. Like, y'all think it's a joke. It's okay.
This TikTok is gonna be legendary. I'm already bracing myself, but this is gonna be legendary TikTok.
At least not in our presence.
Would you say, Mingles?
There's nothing that can make you crash out in our draft.
J.J. McCarthy at 2?
In our presence. There's only a few people there that could crash out. That's me, Brian. If Xavier's there, he'll crash out.
Why can I crash out?
That's what I'm saying. You can't. Everything's so good for you.
Well, how's
you're about
everything?
2 first-round picks because you're not getting Marvin Harrison. You're about to get 11 and 23. Then you're going to walk away with...
then they'll trade back up to 5, Dallas, most likely.
And Brian Thomas Jr. Or... it would be so funny. It would be hilarious.
Quinyon and Brian Thomas Jr. might not be crazy.
Brian, it would be funny. Say Brian Thomas goes like 17, and then maybe the Cardinals don't get A.D. Mitchell, right?
Man.
This trade back happens. They draft an edge at 11 because they need edge help. 23, they need a receiver bad.
South Carolina?
Nah, we ain't even going to South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
We're going to the higher graded consensus prospect. Florida State. Hey, is it a reach?
Ooh. I guess. Florida State. You said Florida State.
I'll really flip the table. I'll flip the whole building over. I'm over.
It's not over. That's the type of system that he needs to succeed. So you
He
don't even know.
He can be a third round pick for us. I fuck with that.
No, he's not a third round prospect in this class though. He's going second round at worst.
Who the fuck he's not?
We could put
At
money.
worst. At worst.
Actually, no, never mind.
What do you mean? At best, he's going second round. I swear, if I see on draft night, day one, if he gets drafted in the first round, I give you $20 right in there. Won't even hesitate.
If he goes worse than second round, never mind. I'm not making that deal.
I don't think he's getting past mid-second round. If it's what I think we're talking about.
He's not getting past mid-second round. I don't think. The traits always went out, man. What's the name of the podcast, man? Traits triumph. Traits went out. You cannot let that type of this mold just slip through your fingers, man. They learned last year.
He ran a 4.6.
But he ran the fastest.
Don't talk about the damn miles per hour. Don't talk about the
miles per hour for each route. He was top 5 every route. He was running them routes quickly.
Wrap this up.
I know we done got to receiver. You done made this turn into a wide receiver podcast again. They know how we feel about these receivers. They know that you hate all the good receivers, and I appreciate the ones that are.
Is it the DB in him? Is it the DB in him?
Yeah, he just that's Brian. Oh my goodness, Brian! I'm so glad you said that. That's what it is.
The only receiver I talk negatively about is him.
Nah, you hate more than that.
I mean, that's what it is, you didn't like the SC receiver.
Brian, I don't know what I'm ignoring him. Brian, I think that's what it is. I think that he's hating on wide receivers because we have to remember he's a cornerback. His whole life he's been taught to hate wide receivers, and so now he sees a wide receiver that he's like, oh, I probably couldn't guard him. He see Keon Coleman, he like, I don't know he can probably figure out other ways to guard like the Malik Neighbors or Roma Dulce, but he see Keon Coleman, I don't know what I'm gonna do with him. I don't know what I can do with Xavier. Like, I don't know what I can do with him. Ain't nothing I can do. That's what it is, Brian. He don't know how he would guard them, so he's just imagining that they don't succeed. The success is so obvious. It's such an obvious path.
Where's my controller?
Oh, he about to turn the game on. All right, man. Y'all just witnessed another episode of What's the Play podcast, and we have finally solved why SportsFan hates these wide receivers in the class. It took us the whole draft season. The people are listening. Hold on. It took us the whole draft season, and we have figured it out why he hates all the wide receivers. We appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment. This may be the second to last Football Trait Triumph episode, but be sure to let us know if you're interested in the NBA content, because the NBA draft is coming up in the next 2 or 3 months. We may not have SportsFan for that because, he's a bit of a football guy, but, he doesn't really pay attention to the draft. But we may have a new panel of people up here for Trait Triumph. Trait Triumph is not just a Christian Brian and SportsFan thing, Once basketball season comes around, we may have a whole new crop of people, But in order to do that, you have to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate you guys watching, and we're about to hop on the game. So have a great rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this, morning, afternoon, evening, and be sure to stay tuned for the next play.